Unmarked word order within sentences. Subject, verb, object. Mrs. Jewell, subject, had, verb, a cat, object. It's universally accepted that the normal, most frequent, therefore unmarked word order in English is subject, as, verb, V, object, O. The SVO order refers to the most basic English sentence, in that this order was seen to be language universal. Jacobson restated one of Greenberg's universal when he declared in 1963 that in declarative sentence with a nominal subject and object, the only or neutral unmarked order is almost always one in which the subject precedes the object. Verbose refers to the order SVO in English as the grammaticalized core of the word order system, thus SVO is subject, verb, object. He also points out that such a basic order reflects our everyday life experiences that being a verb primitive, the efficiency means sentence linearity cannot but reflect the normal and natural order phenomena as occurring in the linguistic reality. Initiating an action, the action necessarily exists before it. Notes. That's found from the King of Capri. Thus we can continue. Here are some example sentences with SVO order, subject, verb, object order taken from the King of Capri. Mrs. Jewell, subject, add, verb, a cat, object. B. Somebody, subject, had cooked, verb, his favorite food, object. C. Mrs. Jewell, subject, had eaten, verb, a chicken wing, 19 baked beans, and tomato and an alpha slice of bread, object. D. They, subject, had, verb, everything they needed, object. E. Mrs. Jewell, subject, add, verb, a big backyard, object. Have, the king, subject, ate, verb, as much as he could but not as much as he would, I've liked, object. G. He, subject, took off, verb, all his dirty clothes, object. Sometimes the subject, verb, and object elements are made up of a single word, sometimes they are made up of a number of words forming one phrase for subject and object elements. In verb phrase for the verb element. An example, a ab of a cat, noun phrase made up of an article, a single noun, a function as object, can be contrasted with the noun phrase everything they needed. An example, D, which also function as object. Or later is a complex noun phrase made up of a pronoun everything plus relative clause that they needed, which pause modifies everything. Referring back to Faber's above in sentence A, the actor Miss Jewell exists and is known to the reader before the action of having a cat. To be noted is the use of the indefinite article A, which indicates that the cat is being introduced for the first time. In sentence C, once again the actor Miss Jewell is before the action eating. The order of subject, actor before object action will therefore seem to be the most logical and natural as Faber's claims. It's interesting to see that this order is present in children's first effort of speech. By insisting, children first indicate the actual subject and the object action carried out. Say show and say the children use their first category subject and object when making an utterance such as father water, meaning father give me some water. Holidays, study of its own speech development from a baby to a small child gives further example of easily organization child speech. Man, clean, car, yet an electric train, steady clock going tick-tock, tick-tock. All this is universally accepted that the basic sentence in English, one with the elements in order SVO. There are other word orders that may also be considered to be a marked basic time. Queer proposes 7 basic time sentences with a marked word order. The sentences exemplifying the various orders are all taken from the king except for F. The 7 basic and marked word order. A. Subject, verb, object. Mrs. G will add a cat. Mrs. G will subject, add verb, a cat, object. B. Subject, verb. He yawn. E. Subject, yawn, verb. C. Subject, verb, complement. Capri is an island. Capri subject, his verb, an island, complement of place. Place complement. D. SVA. Subject, verb, adverbial. Is advisor stood before him. Is advisor subject stood verb before him adverbial. E. Subject, verb, object. He had refused to give the beggars anything to eat. E. Subject, refused to give verb, the beggars object anything to eat, object. F. Subject, verb, object, complement. She got her hair wet. She, subject, got verb, her hair, object, wet, complement. G. Subject, verb, object, adverbial. He could not get all the jelly, all the bun into his mouth. E. Subject, could not get verb, all the jelly, all the bun, object, into his mouth, adverbial. The 7 times basic sentences fall into 3 broad categories. 1 times sentences has a 3-element part of 3 sentences, have 3 elements in 3 sentences, have 4 elements. Query says that the set of patterns is the most general classification that can be usefully applied to the whole range of the English clauses where main or subordinate. Having examined the subject, verb, object pattern, the other basic sentence pattern will now be considered using example from the king.